Hi, this is Jason with ECG Solar, and I'm going to do an overall review of our JCB 6640E, which is an electric TeleTruck is what they call it. I've had it for about 6 months right now, so that would be kind of a good point to go through all of the features and any problems or issues we've had, and see if it'd be a good fit for you if you happen to be looking for an electric forklift. So I was told this is the only one in Iowa so far. Haven't had any major issues. We may have an issue with the charger, but that is from a third-party company, and the dealer is looking into that. But other than that, we haven't had zero issues. This particular model here, I basically got everything that was as an option from the factory, and then I added a few things. For example, I added the LED light bar. Obviously these are the LEDs that came with the unit, and they're kind of pathetic, so I faced those up for when you're picking from a high shelf, and then most of the time I'm within 10 feet, so this gives a lot more light as the 24-inch light bar, so I added that in there as well. And then in the back, I kept just the one light back here, and then I added a proper beacon. The other beacon is kind of pathetic, but that's just my personal preference. I also added a camera. So this thing's got kind of like a fat ass, I guess, if you want to say, but of course more forklifts are going to be like that. So visibility is pretty hard, especially when you're really trying to get into some really tight areas and you don't want to be bumping stuff or scratching everything up on the unit, although I had one tenant already graciously do that, which is lovely. Anyways, so and just mounted the display inside the cab here, so it just gives an additional function to be able to see straight down. And then I got it set up to where as long as I stay out of this red, then I have about 3 inches left over, and I'm gonna be good to go. I did put the camera, however, on magnets, because first off, this is one big giant counterweight, and that would be very difficult to try to bolt or screw something to. It'd be a lot of work. But this is nice because I can actually move it around if I want to, or if it does get bumped, it's going to give, so not destroy the camera or anything else like that. So it seems to work out pretty good. And even jumping around, bouncing around outside, it seems to stay in place. So got the rear windshield wiper in the back, and the back window also opens up just like this if you want some ventilation. You got the rear defrost, and then of course if you want your rear switch, you do have to turn on here. It is not part of the main control system right here. Got your dome light up there, and then of course you have your 180-degree mirror. And I added my overhead door button to that. Not much places to mount that, but anyways, so yeah. And then you have your display, which I'll show later, your load indicator, and then all your other basic controls. It's pretty straightforward. You even got a nifty little cup holder there. So anyways, moving on to the outside, so obviously you have all your lighting and your windshield wiper, your grill guard here, and then I got this with the optional forks, adjustable forks, so you can adjust the width of them in and out, and then also the carriage slides left and right to kind of fine-tune placement of stuff like that. So we're doing a lot of different size pallets, and it's on our other conventional equipment like the JCB teleskid, or like our 525 that's sitting over there, for example. You got to get out of the cab all the time and be adjusting it, which is like really mildly annoying. So this is really nice right from the cab to be able to do all that. It is a telescoping forklifts, and I'll show you how that function works. Got your hydraulic sight right there. You have your hydraulic fill right there. Pretty straightforward. If you need to get to your batteries, which you will obviously at some point to be able to charge it, here is the battery pack. It extends way into there, but it is in a removable tray to take completely out. This is where your power is to the forklift itself, and then when you want to charge it, you basically just pull this out like this, and then you plug in the charger part of it, which looks just like this, and you plug it in, and push the power button, and away it goes. Depending on how depleted the battery is, it takes, you know, an hour to 3 hours to charge up, so it's pretty reasonable. And then you can hit this safety latch right here. Sorry, I'm trying to do this one-handed. If you're expecting great cinematography like Steven Spielberg or something, you're not going to get it in this video. But anyways, so that's just the big counterweight right here. And then this is your battery pack, which does have fork inserts, so that if it needs to be removed, you could easily do that with a set of forks from another machine. So that's pretty straightforward. Really not much to service on this thing. It is electric, obviously, so works out pretty good. Let's see if I can figure out how to put this thing back. There we go. And then just flip this down, and away you go. All right, so if you ever need to tilt the cab up, which is kind of like with the skid loader, to get to the motors and the pumps and blah blah blah, you take this cover off, and then you'll see there's this like hex head here that you put on a big ratchet, and then you basically just turn it and it cranks the cab up. But you do got to take this plate off because it will crush it, because this is the hinge point right here. And then you can get to underneath it and do whatever you need to do right there. So it's got a split window, so if you want to be able to open the window, you can just hit this latch right here. That goes all the way into that position. And then you have your open window like that. I'm just going to leave that open for right now. And then you have multiple ways to adjust your seat, you know, with air, front to back, side, the lumbar, all that good stuff. And then of course your safety belt. Got a safety handle here, so you can use that to pull yourself up into. You have your e-stop, and you have your key, and then you just got your typical little steering wheel here, nothing too fancy. And then your fan controls, and that's just for air, like just moving air, not air conditioning. And then of course heat. So it does not have AC, and that is not an option. And then you have your front and right light controls. You can change your eco, which basically is how much power the pumps are doing. So like if you know you're only lifting 1,000 pounds, you can put it like an eco, I think it's eco 2, and then so the pumps are just not having to work as hard, because it doesn't really need to lift, you know, 4,000 pounds or whatever. So this is your joystick lockout, and then this is how you navigate into the menu system, like up and down, enter, back, all that good stuff. And then your hazards and all that good stuff. And then you got your park brake, and then your controls on your everything is controlled here. This button right here is for forward and reverse. So forward, neutral, reverse. There is no like foot pedals per se, like, you know, to make it move forward. I mean, you use this pedal obviously, but I mean, it's not like the John Deere where, you know, you got a front and a rear pedal. Not a front or rear, but I mean, to go forwards and backwards, there's two separate pedals, so that's kind of nice. And then all your controls for all your boom and stuff is all right here. So we'll fire it up. Real simple. All you do is just turn the key, and then obviously everything runs through its diagnostics. Right now you can see that the controls are locked out, and the parking, that is default. It's always going to be there. It is fully charged right now, and then it shows obviously 0% on the loading. Because we haven't got nothing going on. So to basically get it in mode, all we gotta do is just push the unlock button for the controls. So obviously that's gone off, and then we hit the park here, that goes off, and then now it's ready to go. So now I can use the controls just like that, or if I need to move forward, I hit the button up, and then away we go. And super quiet, obviously, for electric. And then in reverse, It is 0 turning radius, so that's kind of nice too. Okay, enough of that. And then I'll just kind of show you some of the capability here. I'm going to do this from the cab. So obviously it goes up and down, and then to extend the boom out, you just go right on the stick. And then when you want to go up, you pull back. I'm going to go way up there. Hopefully we can see through the spot there. If you want to know all the specifications of this unit, from like the weight, its power, what it can lift, I know it can lift a lot, like well above 4,000 pounds, and you know, reaching height and blah blah blah. You can go to the JCB website yourself and look all that up. I don't have all those numbers offhand, and it's really kind of irrelevant at this point. Anyway, so you got that, and then obviously you use this switch here to do your fork tilt. It goes pretty far, obviously. You can see that articulation right there, pretty good. And then all the way down, just like that. And then to move the forks, I guess I can keep them tipped down so you can see it. So I can adjust the oops, wrong button. Well, this is the carriage slide, so you can kind of see where you can do that. I think it's 6 inches each direction, additional control. And then this switch right here adjusts your forks. It is extraordinarily sensitive, so just don't jam it. You just got to kind of baby it just a little bit, just, you know, real lightly, so you can adjust the forks in and out. And then we'll go pretty close together like that, so it works out pretty good. I'll level it back out. So we can load our box trailers up with this, no problem. You know, pick a pallet and then shove it in the back, type deal. Works out pretty good. And then as you have weight on the machine, and then as you're lifting, or if the machine is not quite level or whatever else like that, then it starts telling you what the percentage of load is. And then at some point when it gets too high, it actually just stops you from doing what you're doing. Like meaning, like if you're trying to lift straight up, then it just stops going straight up. You can always go back down, but it won't allow you to do something that is going to overturn the machine or do anything unsafe like that. So that's kind of a nice feature to kind of take some of the guesswork out of things, and you know, just operate safely. So anyways, you can change your different eco modes. Of course, you can look that up online too, what that, you know, at the end of the day, what that really means for you. But it's basically just kind of economy modes on the motors and the batteries. So like I said, if you need full power, then you would just, you know, leave it into like Eco 1, and then if you don't need as much power, Eco 3, or vice versa. I don't ever mess with it. We only lift about 2,000 pounds with it, and I very seldom see this bar go up past this point. Like I said, it can lift a lot, so it works out pretty good. And then you can go through all your different menus. If you want like service menus, what's the status of the battery, voltage, you know, all that good stuff, but that's not that big of a deal. And it does got windshield wipers on the front with the bug squirter, you know, so they have their fluid there, so that works out good. And then of course you can remotely control your rear defrost. It's got quite a bit of cargo room back here. It's quite big, so you can put whatever you want back here for storage, clipboards, whatever else like that. So, and then you got your lifting chart right down there in case you ever need to refer to that. And then there is a brake pedal if you do need it. I very, very, very seldom have to ever use the brake pedal. I mean, it is electric, so it uses a dynamic braking system. So, but it's there obviously if you need it. And it's pretty fast. I would say the fastest I've gotten on pavement is probably about maybe 12, 13 miles an hour. It does go, but it's really not supposed to be a race car. So other than that, that is about it. I would imagine that if you're looking at electric forklift, oh, now it's going to squawk at me because it does have a sensor. That's a good point. So it does have a sensor to know when you're not sitting in the seat, and we'll sit there and beep, and it'll automatically lock everything out, obviously. So That's I should probably point that out. So anyways, once in a while when you're trying to like see something, you got like a tall pallet or you just can't see, and you lean out the window a little bit to simply see what's going on with your forks or whatever, that's enough for your weight to come off the seat and for you to basically get locked out of everything. So then once you sit back down, then you got to unlock everything and then you can resume what you're doing. That is like really mildly irritating, to be honest with you. I don't know what other kind of sensor you can have to make it so that it knows that you're still in the cab, but you're not really quite sitting down right at the moment. Or even if you just kind of get up off the seat just a little bit, raise yourself up, pulling yourself forward with the steering wheel so you can get up a little bit high up here to like look down or whatever's going on. That part is a little mildly irritating, but what can you do? I'm sure there's a way to bypass it, because that was basically the same thing on my John Deere. And all you got to do is just create a jumper wire underneath the seat, disconnect the harness. It's just a 2-wire harness. Create a jumper, and it thinks that you're always in the seat, because that was the other thing on my Deere, was every time you would hit a big bump and you would come off your seat, it would kill the either the PTO or the belly mower. Or same thing, you got up to yell at someone outside, or just to look at, oh, is there something in the grass here, or whatever, and they would kill everything. It was really, really super annoying. So I disabled that, and I just haven't got around to this just quite yet to do that. So other than that, I'm not sure what the weight of this thing is, but it is pretty heavy. My guess is it's 10,000 pounds plus. But like I said, you can look on the internet. Sorry, I don't have specifications. I'm not really a specifications person, but it does suit all of our needs, and it's pretty nifty. It does have some pretty decent tires on it, however, and a lot of our parking lot right now is gravel. There's some concrete that we've done, but until all that gets done, it gets around pretty good. If it's like super, super soft, it can kind of be an issue, especially if you're going up an incline, and nothing on the front. That means then basically all the weight is in the back, and sometimes it'll spin out. But you just got to kind of use common sense or just go backwards up the hill. But other than that, it gets around perfectly fine on the inside of the surfaces and concrete and everything else like that. So anyways, take a look at it, and hopefully you can see one at your JCB dealer if you're interested in electric forklift. So far, we really like it. The lifespan on the battery is pretty long. 6 months now. I've charged it now 6 times. I would say on average, we probably use the forklift about 20 hours a week. So you do the math on that. So it's pretty reasonable. And like I said, I don't really mess around with the eco modes. I'm sure I can eke out even more on it, but it's really not that big of a deal. And the charger for it is over here. I'll just show you real quick. And I can charge it for free because we have solar on the building, so that's not that big of a deal. But this is the charger that was sold to us by the dealer. And I believe it can deliver up to 80 amps of power. And this is just the typical connector, real easy. Like I said, you just unplug the battery pack, you plug this in, hit this power button, walk away, and it just does its thing, and it goes from there. So pretty simple. So hopefully you've enjoyed this information, and I wish you guys all a good day, and see you later.